The Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-4, and they are what their record says they are, a team that has found a way to lose games differently every week. We'll discuss it here on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jags, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for joining us here on Locked On Jaguars, where it's your team every day. And we thank you for making us your first listen here on Locked On Jaguars. Tough game yesterday, man. Tough game. We're going to get to that in just a second. I got to let you know that today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks, presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on your entry. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo Locked On. That's prizepicks.com, promo code Locked On. A lot to unlock today here on Locked On Jaguars as we talk about yesterday's loss, 34-27 in Indianapolis to the Colts, where they found another way to figure out how to lose. And you guys already know that because you've been agonizing now for at least 12 hours or 18 hours about it. But we're going to discuss it because we're going to attach it to a lot of the things that we've said coming into this week. By the way, we're free on all platforms. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Shout out to Duval till we die. You know, we ain't dead yet, man. You know, I know it feels that way, but we're not. Let me tell you what happened in the game yesterday. Basically, the Jaguars are what the record says they are. And we can sugarcoat it and try to blame losses on different aspects of the game. We've done it all last week and the 2 weeks before that, maybe, when they started losing. Here's what I heard. They need to run the ball. Trevor needs to stop turning the ball over. He needs to hit his checkdowns. He needs to be patient. All the things happened yesterday. The Jaguars had over 200 yards rushing. The Jaguars had big plays in the running game. Hasty had a 60-some-odd yard touchdown. Etienne broke off a couple of big runs, like 30, 40 yards. James Robinson was gashing whenever he was running the ball. It's real easy to sit here and say, well, they should have kept running. Well, they kind of did keep running, okay? The problem is they couldn't stop the Colts from scoring, which goes back to what Doug Peterson always says. You run to win. What do you say? You score to what is it? I'm getting so the slogans are confusing me so bad that I'm losing track of it, right? You pass the score, you run to win. That's what he said. And they didn't score enough. They've had some games where 27 points was good enough. 27 wasn't good yesterday because they couldn't stop the Colts. You are who you are when you can't figure out week to week how to make everything go the way it's supposed to go. This is an analogy I've used a lot in the past. It's like, you got a plumbing problem. Okay, you fix the pipe in the bathroom, and all of a sudden water pops up out of the floor of the kitchen. And you patch that one up, and then all of a sudden, the laundry room floods. You know why? Because that entire house needed to be repiped. But you keep trying to do it one at a time. You ever seen these streets where they fix potholes instead of just laying asphalt? They just fix the hole, and then the hole ends up, you run right back into that hole one night, you're riding down the street, and then bang, you think you bent your rim because they just keep patching the hole. The Jaguars keep patching holes. Now, a lot of y'all gonna say, wait a minute. They got a whole new coaching staff. Yeah, but you know who they did get rid of? Trent Baalke. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like the first couple of weeks I was like, Baalke might have knew what he was doing. Because I did say that. But the reason why I advocated so much for them to start over completely was because of that feeling you have in your gut right now. And that feeling is that this isn't year one of anything. This is year 3 of something. That's the feeling that if things went off and went crazy, you don't have it in you to rationalize that, well, it's Doug's first year. Well, 2 years ago, there was COVID. Last year, there was another form of COVID named Urban Meyer. So this is the only real year. This is his first season. And you look at a team like the Jets, who beat the Packers yesterday on the road and a 4-2, and they were in a very similar situation with Jacksonville. In fact, remember during the COVID year when Frank Gore got a first down, and all of a sudden now the Jaguars are picking first. And I know you guys recall that. The Jaguars are picking first because of it. And the Jaguars take Trevor Lawrence, and the Jets take Zach Wilson. And everybody's going to be tied at the hip. Everybody's going to be tied at the hip, wondering if and when, which one of those teams is going to go first, who's going to be the best player. There's a lot of talk like that, right? Well, the Jets are 4-2 because they're in the second year of their staff overhaul. The Falcons are even playing way better than the Jaguars. They're in their second year of their entire overhaul. The Jaguars are in their second year of the overhaul, but it's not an entire overhaul. It's not complete. You still got Trent, right? So I'm not saying that we weren't happy with some of the picks or the way it looked early on. But what I'm telling you is the feeling you have about all of this is because it feels like a continuation of something as opposed to you having the room to even be understanding of the fact that the Jaguars have 4 losses all by 1 score, that nobody's blown them out, that they have a very young team and they're trying to figure it out. The reason why Jaguar fan doesn't want to hear that crap is because this feels like year 3. And that was the fear. Not that Trent hasn't done some good things. The fear was, for me, that the normal room you would have to understand growing pains, you ain't got it. And the reason why you ain't got it is because they failed to have a clean slate. This could have happened had they got rid of Trent and Doug had a bigger imprint and they got another GM and he made the exact same picks. And I guarantee you Jaguar fans would be like, it's all right. We're getting there. We're close. But now you're saying, no, we're still finding ways to lose because we're the same team we always have been, which I don't think is true, but it feels like that because they didn't clean house. And this is exactly why I said that. I want to be very, very clear with what I'm saying here. I am not blaming this on Trent Baalke. I am not saying it would be different had they not brought Trent Baalke back. What I'm telling you is you would feel differently about it if it was all new people and the whole thing was new, because you would feel like we're growing this together and we're doing this together. In segment 2, I want to talk about some things that we thought were fixed that aren't fixed, and why some of the craziest offers for solutions would really indict Trent Baalke. I'm going to tell you about all of those things in just a second here in segment 2 on Locked On Jaguars. I'm old, man. I'm getting there. I realize I can't do all the things that I used to do, right? I'm getting older. My body's changing. And I know that's natural. You say, man, just go to the gym. Well, I go to the gym about as often as I did, and I stayed fine and I stayed energetic before. I remember when winning felt easy, dropping a couple of pounds felt easy, and now I just don't have the energy for it anymore. You want more energy to counter the negative physical effects of aging? Nugenix Total T testosterone booster with testofen will help you turn back the clock, re-energize your workouts, get you better results at the gym, and you look and feel like the man you really want to be. Nugenix Total T contains man-boosting key ingredients like testofen. It has been validated in 5 clinical studies, shown to boost free testosterone levels in men. Because Total T boosts free testosterone, that aging process robs you. You'll feel stronger, leaner, more energy and drive, and more passion too. And your partner will notice the difference. That's the biggest part for me right there. Now get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text NFL to 231-231. Text now and get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, their most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text NFL to 231-231. Text NFL 231-231. Message and data rates apply. Terms apply. Available at nugenix.com/terms. Athletic Greens. I had some of this morning, y'all. Athletic Greens. I have been very transparent about some of the things that I have in terms of gut health, nasty diverticulitis, and all of these other things that I have to deal with. And I can't put anything inside of my body. And I also don't want to stand up there along with other medication and take 75 vitamins every single day. With Athletic Greens, you don't have to do that. Our partner has a product I use literally every day, and I started taking AG1 because of those gut health issues, and just I don't have time to take all of those vitamins. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports gut health, your nervous system, and your immune system, your energy, recovery, and focus, and aging. All of those things. Man, I know you guys are going to love it. It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. You're investing in an all-in-one natural insurance. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NFL network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NFL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, man. I hope the Jaguars got their insurance. All right, because we saw nothing but a car wreck here the other day. Yesterday. It feels like it was 2 days ago. 34-27, played well. And aren't you guys tired of this? This is the thing that I want to attach here. I don't care about close wins. I told y'all weeks ago this team wasn't built to be blown out by anybody unless Trevor had 5 turnovers and they didn't get blown out. That's not I know the bar has been really low around here. That's not a new bar we set for ourselves because the team doesn't get blown out or blown out. And I know we're not going to look at it and go 2-4, man, but all 4 they were within one possession. And if they just figure it out and grow together and learn how to turn, all of that stuff is good. That's all positive, yada, yada, yada. I feel you on that. But I'm also looking at it like this. Those are winnable games. Those are winnable games. And those games, some of those games at least, the Jaguars should have at the very least be 4-2. At the very least, they should be 4-2. The disheartening part is how they find a way to lose games. Let me tell you this. They were winning all of these games at some point. The one that they didn't have the biggest lead was Philly because Philly stormed back on them. Even in that game, they were up 14-3. They were up 14-3 again against the Colts. Houston couldn't move the ball. They found a way to lose. They stormed back against Washington and took the lead after stepping on their toes and tripping over their shoestrings in the first quarter of that game. They found a way to lose. The defense let them down today. The defense, in my opinion, in the fourth quarter against Washington let them down. The defense let them down against Philly. And I know people want to blame the offense and they want to blame Trevor Lawrence. But what you saw about this defense yesterday is something that has been festering and hanging around in all of these games, with the exception of a win against the Colts and the win against the Chargers. When they needed to stop people, they couldn't. Against Houston, they couldn't stop the run. Against Philly, they couldn't stop the run or a scrambling quarterback. Against Washington, they gave up big plays over the top in the fourth quarter, 2 for touchdowns. And then yesterday, when the team they were playing couldn't run the ball, they let a 58-year-old quarterback slice him and dice him for the most completions he's ever had in his career. And I thought Gus Bradley was the defensive coordinator of Jacksonville yesterday, believe it or not, because that's a Gus Bradley kind of job where a guy just sits back there and just picks you apart. And Shaq Griffin, have mercy. It's ironic that the best game they played, and I like him as an individual, but what I said, be careful of being a great interview and being a good soundbite, because if you start losing, none of that crap will matter one bit, and it does not. Now nobody wants to hear from that great interview. They don't want to see you smiling. They don't want to see you joking. Nobody wants to look on social media and see you jet skiing all over. Nobody cares, because this is what happens when not doing your job and being good at the other stuff. It just doesn't matter anymore. They are ready to run 26 out of Jacksonville. I don't know if it's a lack of effort, caring, trying, or just he's just not good enough. They might consider benching him. I'm serious. They just might consider, unless they just don't have another alternative. But they need another dog out there, even if it means moving Darius Williams, who hasn't been great himself, outside where he belongs, because that's where he played to get this contract, and trying somebody else at nickel. Shaq was abused yesterday by a rookie and by Michael Pittman. It looked like Matt Ryan came out of the huddle and said, that's who we want. And the reason why I keep talking about Balky, because that was Trent's guy too. Travon Walker got some good pressure yesterday, played well against the run whenever they tried to run it. But young brother, you cannot have those penalties 2 weeks in a row where that team is, and yesterday wasn't as egregious as the one against Houston, where it was out of pure frustration. But I know you're trying to make a play, but you cannot hit a quarterback anywhere near his head, and we got to call it out. It is what it is. And a lot of people are talking about the pass rush. I was going back and forth with George DeLugo last week about Brian Burns. Brian Burns is available. He's available. I think Brian Burns is a great player. Me, myself, I love pass rush. Me, myself, I'm a Florida State supporter. I love Brian Burns. If the Jaguars would make a move like that to get more pass rush, first of all, Matt Ryan got the ball out of his hand. This is 2 weeks in a row. If you watch the game, the quarterback, 3-step drop, bang, bang, bang. And then when he didn't have a 3-step drop, they had extra protection and chipping on the edge. If there's somebody I'm going to call out, it's Josh Allen, because Josh Allen has been in the league long enough now that he has to be able to make a difference. It ain't no learning curve and none of that stuff. We all said that Josh Allen was not as effective because he didn't have somebody on the other side. Well, I saw them chipping Trayvon yesterday. Josh Allen has to play better. But everybody's talking about making all of these moves. If you make a move like that, what you're doing is you're admitting that the guy you gave the fifth-year option to, Josh Allen, and the guy you picked number 1 overall, Trayvon Walker, isn't good enough. And I appreciate the self-correction, but if that's your self-correction, then guess what? That means you shouldn't be having a job as the GM. And that's my point. You expect people to walk all over themselves, and then what, you got to give them first round? You give up another first-round pick? Because you ain't getting Burns without giving up the 2023 first-round pick. And right now, that first-round pick is probably going to be a top 10 pick. So now you're going to pick a guy number 1 overall to play the edge. You're going to give a fifth-year option to another guy who plays the edge, who just 2 weeks ago was second in the league in pressures. And you're going to go out and give up a first-round pick. And because you give up a first-round pick, you're going to have to give a long-term contract. You're going to give him $100 million over 5 years. You're stepping all over yourself as a drafter and as a talent evaluator, and you can't do that. That's not how this works. So everybody's talking about the pass rush. Pass rush just doesn't come from the edge. If those guys are going wide and those guys are trying to make him step up into the pocket, where's the inside rush? Where's Roy Robinson Harris? They need interior guys. Guys on the back end have to tackle. I'm sick of the bad angles. I think Lloyd and Olukon did it yesterday. If your help is to your right, why would you take an angle and the only route of escape a guy has is to the left, and now all of y'all are chasing him? Be more nuanced. Go out to the left, force him back to where your help is, and make the tackle. Cisco, I love Cisco. He's very sudden. Cisco misses tackles in the secondary that gives up those 3, 4, and 5 yards. And when you do that, those things add up. So this goes back to this. What's going on with him? I tell you what I think is going on. I think one of the problems Mike Caldwell is having, and shout out to all the coaches because they probably ain't had no sleep last night, and it's easy for me to sit here and be a podcast coordinator, but that's exactly what I'm going to do because that's what I get paid to do. So if those guys are your frontline guys and you go up 14-3, and the Colts haven't had the ball a lot, and after you kick off, why do you go to your reserves? I watched with intent the game yesterday between the Chiefs and the Bills, and I watched with intent both of the games of the week. The game yesterday between the Cowboys and Eagles, arguably the 4 best teams playing right now. And in critical situations, when you have the momentum, I never saw Michael Parsons out of the game. I never saw Chris Jones out of the game. Now, somebody may be able to go and, what I call them the nerds, the stat nerds. They might go and look and say, no, well, Trayvon and Josh Allen, they played X amount of plays, so that's about right. I'm not talking about how many plays. I'm talking about when they took those breaks. And I guess you could say, well, 14-3 is a good time to get them a little bit of a blow or a breather. Not if they ain't tired, and they couldn't have been tired because the Colts didn't have the ball very much. Oh, on the first drive, they did go down the field a little bit, and they were using tempo. But my thing is we have seen this week after week after week where the Jaguars are playing well, they sort of get the lead, and then you go in the reserves, and then they get walked down the field, and then once the team gets in the red zone, they stick Trayvon and Josh back in there. Are you serious? I don't understand the rotation in the defensive line. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I know your backup guys ain't as good as those guys that you're paying all that money and that you use those resources on. So I just don't understand. We'll answer more of that, and I'll try to give you a little bit of silver lining here in segment 3 on Locked On Jaguars. After I remind you about NFL Key Predictions, make sure you check out NFL Key Predictions every Friday on Locked On NFL. Locked On's local experts give you the inside scoop on the 5 biggest games of the NFL weekend, including Sunday and Monday Night Football. Plus, betting advice from the field's leading experts at BetOnline. Follow NFL Key Predictions every Friday on Locked On NFL, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. I got to holler at y'all about PrizePicks, man. PrizePicks, I hope you got yours in yesterday because I'm telling you, I wouldn't have picked Matt Ryan to throw for all of those yards, but I'm sure somebody probably did, and if they did, they won him some money. What you have is a daily fantasy game where you have entries, and those entries have player projections, meaning they're going to try to guess. They're going to give a number on how many yards a certain player may have, and then you have to figure out whether it's more or less than that number. So tonight, if you're going to take Russell Wilson, find out how many passing yards or touchdowns they have him throwing for, and you decide whether it's more or less. It's easy to play. All you have to do is figure out those entries and come up with the information and find out if you can beat PrizePicks. You pick 2 to 5 players, and they will go score more or less than the PrizePick projection. You can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. Now, if you do 5 entries, you can use a flex option where you don't have to get them all correct. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match of up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. If you deposit 100, PrizePicks will give you 100. If you deposit 50, PrizePicks will give you 50. Don't forget to enter the promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match of up to $100. We thank you for joining us here again, making us your first listen on Locked On Jaguars, because it's your team every day, your daily podcast. I wish I had better things to talk about than the defense and Trent Baalke and the Jags being 2-4, but I don't. They are who their record says they are. They're a 2-4 football team, and you can say, well, they were within one score in every single game. And I can say they're always just a day late and a dollar short. They can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, because where they're fixed this week, something else is going to be broke next week. I mean, man, it's just frustrating because they should be. It feels like I don't like when people take away their own opportunities and shovel crap on themselves. Crap is the good word. My grandma used to call it shoveling something else on yourself. But it seems like that's what they do every single week, whether it's because of a penalty, poor play by one person. It's been Trevor in the past. Yesterday, it was Shaq Griffin. A bad one play or one mistake by one person for 2 weeks in a row. It's 44. You can't do it. I understand. 41 has been absent. Missed tackles, missed opportunities. So they're starting to be defined. When I talked about how they could win and their formula for winning, I did all of that based on what they're best at, right? And what they're really good at. They're really good normally when they're playing ahead and they can get into the sub package and force you to play at their tempo in the way that they want to play, and then turn and run the ball and be able to hit you with the running game. But they're not being defined by the things that they do well, because yesterday they did things well. They ran the ball. Trevor was efficient. They're starting to be, this is why they lost, because now they're starting to be defined by the things they can't do. And what I mean by that is, y'all wondering why Doug went for it on 4th down, because he felt like they needed to score touchdowns. But if they felt they could make a 50-yard field goal, I think they would have taken it. I think that the reason why they didn't go for the field goal is because there's a combination that I think they believe 50 yards is too far. I also believe that Doug is a bit of a risk taker and he wants to be aggressive. But I also think that he saw yesterday that they were going to have a hard time stopping the Colts. So he needed touchdowns. He needed as many points as he could get. But if they were sure they could kick it, they probably would have kicked it with the feeling that they can come down and kick another one. Right? How many of y'all, when they scored that touchdown yesterday to go ahead, you said it's too quick? I know I did. And you know why? Because the Colts only needed a field goal to win the game. You say, well, Wig, they scored a touchdown, so it wouldn't have mattered. Oh, yeah, it would have mattered, because if we kick that field goal earlier, and now the Jags are up by more points than 1 or 2, guess what happens? Now they have to go for a touchdown. And if we're up 4 instead of being up 1 or 2, now they have to score a touchdown. And if they score a touchdown, you ain't playing press coverage like that and giving up that long ball. Because I'm gonna tell you what Shaq did. He went to sleep. Now, some people say he was asleep the whole game. It was a rough. I've never seen a cornerback play for Jacksonville have that bad of a game. I'm being serious. But the other thing is you're being lazy because you're playing. They're not going to go for this. They're just trying to get more yards, and then bang, they hit you over the top, right? And it was the perfect scenario for Jacksonville, because it was 3rd down, and you were hoping that they did something stupid and didn't try to get a few yards, because a few yards was guaranteed to them. They've been doing it all game. And then that guy would come on and try, even though he could make it, from Gary, Indiana, you were going to try to make him kick a 50-some-odd yard field goal, and anything can happen. It could be blocked. It could get shanked, and you win a close game, and everybody's happy on the plane going home. But no, man. No, they've been beat. They've been beat that way over and over again. And I know a lot was made about when Terry McLaurin caught his touchdown, and folks were saying, well, it was on Andre Cisco because he changed his hips this way. The bottom line is, whatever it is, they saw it. And the reason why I'm saying that the Jaguars might have to put Shaquille Griffin on the bench is because he is bloody meat right now in the ocean. Every single team in this league, mark my word, I got this pen in my hand, that have to play the Jaguars, When those guys come in for their meetings on Monday or Tuesday or whatever meeting date they have, when they get in there and walking in on that chalkboard, I'm going to tell you, if you play defense, what you're going to see. Or if you play offense, you're going to see a big number 26 up there until they take him out or he starts playing better. If I was the opposing team, I would walk in and go 26. I would probably order 100 shirts and have everybody in the building wear 26. They're coming for him. And I don't know if you can help him. They're coming for him. And the Jaguars are going to have to figure that out, and they're going to have to find a way to get themselves out of this hole. And that team, they got to play this Sunday. And I can't wait till the crossover because my girl Patricia Trainee is going to be on. The Giants are for real. And I keep telling folks are telling me that they weren't, I don't know. I say they're gonna play a game in a phone booth. They're gonna make every game look ugly like all those games are. And that's exactly who they are, and it's exactly what they are. And they're gonna get Saquon Barkley, and you're gonna get all of you're gonna get a scrambling quarterback. All of the things the Jaguars don't seem to do well, they're gonna have to do it. And you get to see the other rookies that we all mentioned in the draft process, Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. They come in here and you see you're going to measure them up right there one-on-one with Trayvon Walker. So everything is going to be on full display. And now the fans are all upset. Same old. But didn't I tell you if things like this happen, you would, if there wasn't a clean slate, you were going to feel the way you feel right now. They're 2-4. This is who they are. This is record-wise who they are. And now fans are already looking forward to the draft. I was driving home yesterday. It was 4:30 and people were like, who's the best corner in the draft? Who's the best? They're already looking forward to next year. And this is something that I thought we got away from, but obviously we have not gotten away from it. I don't want you to try to get away from me or the Peacock and Williamson NFL show because it is outstanding. Brian Peacock does a very, very good job, along with a former NFL scout, Matt Williamson, coming together and giving you an NFL show like one you've never seen. Make sure you like and subscribe. Find it on the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcast, or on YouTube. Until tomorrow, I'll try to find some silver lining. Let me give you a little bit right now. Some silver lining is this. They're probably right where we should have expected them to be, right? The thing that upsets you is even when you're right where somebody expects you to be, there comes a time when you can either be better or be exactly what we say. So far, they continue to be exactly what we say in 4 out of the 6 games. The very, very winnable games, we want you to prove us wrong. Got another week. We'll talk about it more as we get into Giant Week here on Locked On Jaguars. Until then, y'all take care of each other, man, and try to find something to be happy about.